warrant for this entire construction site, okay? We're Homeland Security. We have a search warrant for the whole site. We need construction to cease immediately. We need all work to end on the site right now. All yours.
Okay, you guys, we have got to discuss this issue with the Hyundai plant and the over 400 people that were arrested and are going to be deported. Everybody seems to be up in arms. There's a lot of misinformation about what actually happened, whether they were supposed to be there or they weren't. And to my surprise, as I look on social media, I see a whole lot of Black people chiming in. And I'm not understanding, because I thought we were minding our Black business this time around. But apparently we don't know how to mind our business. And so now Black people are all online spewing misinformation, crying for other races, and once again, not minding our Black business. So with that said, let's get into this thing with the immigration raid. I'm going to sip my iced coffee and we're going to discuss ICE. So let's get into the woman that everybody's mad at that claims she is the reason that they did the raid.
So there were 452 illegals apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site yesterday near Savannah. And I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE. But it goes beyond just someone working illegally. Let me explain to you. These people are working for slave wages. Some are not getting paid. Some are being trafficked. They send money home to their country. They give money to their handler. They have hardly anything left. They live in homes 5 families deep, have no quality of life. It's modern day slavery. So if you think that ICE is just going in and ripping people out of their jobs, these hardworking people that want a better life, well, guess what? Politicians have really screwed these people, because when they came here, they thought they were, hey, the border's open, we're coming in, we're going to get the 5-star treatment, and we can go to the big Walmart, and we can live in a 5-star hotel, and that's just not how it is. It's very bad conditions, very inhumane, and the Biden administration started a humanitarian crisis. So y'all can't just look at it like they're ripping good people off the job. They're probably saving their lives in the long run.
Hyundai? Yeah, so you dense, dumb, and stupid. For you to sit up here and admit that you called ICE, causing a raid for Hyundai to lose over $1 billion, stop operation, and prevent a whole bunch of people of getting new jobs. You are so proud of yourself that you are responsible for almost 500 people getting deported that were sent here to bring jobs to Georgia. It was your blatant racism, but you're trying to justify it, saying that it was slave labor and that they were getting paid a low wage. Ma'am, you don't care about those people. You do not care about those people. You did not want these people in your country. And you're so slow that you did not understand why they were over here, you numb nut. I'm trying to calm down, but I get so tired of you people. Yeah, you people, you know the terminology y'all like to use. I'm so tired of y'all with this savior complex, thinking that y'all have to be the hero in every scenario with a situation that has nothing to do with you. And I just got to get this off of my chest. May the odds never be in your favor. I hope every time you get up in the middle of the night, you hit your pinky toe on the side of the bed. I hope bed bugs eat your ass up every night. And yeah, that Congress seat that you think that you have in the bag that you're going to win, may you lose it. May you have the life you absolutely deserve.
Now, my question to this sister would be, why do you care about these people? Next, that plant started being built in 2023 in the Biden administration. And if you claim that they were there to train Americans on how to get jobs, where the hell was all the Americans when they did the raid? We talking about 2 years in the works now. I didn't see a whole bunch of Americans running around when they came and raided the plant. And you know the other thing I didn't see? No Black folks. So, but carry on.
I've seen a lot of videos of people celebrating everything that's happened in Georgia with the Hyundai plan and thinking that now that the immigrants that came here to train us are no longer in those roles, that they're automatically going to get those jobs. And I'm just here like, this is why a lot of the world thinks that we're dumb because our education system is failing. But in all seriousness though, a lot of those workers that came over from South Korea were highly skilled workers and specialized workers that came to do a knowledge transfer, meaning that they were here to set up the plant and make sure everything was running smoothly. And a part of that setup was to train American workers, American engineers on their battery and their battery systems. And now that they're no longer able to do that, that knowledge transfer is not going to happen. And the reason why in the first place they had to bring workers with Hyundai was because we didn't have anybody specialized in that area. So now we're not only going to lose up on this opportunity for knowledge transfer, a lot of people are going to lose up on those job opportunities. And it just speaks to a larger conversation and a lot of rhetoric that I've been seeing where people are saying that immigrants are taking jobs, immigrants are taking jobs. But the jobs that immigrants are taking, sometimes people don't want it. And sometimes the truth is you're just not educated enough and not trained enough to do that role. So just because now these highly skilled workers are not going to be there, you're still not qualified. And now we still have a gap in knowledge in our system for this role.
So now we are stupid and we are not highly skilled to do jobs. Ma'am, that plant has been being built since 2023. You do not need highly skilled people. You need construction workers to build the plant. You did not need special people over from Korea to teach somebody how to build a motherfucking wall and put in some goddamn machinery for things to be built, okay? Again, they've been there 2 years. I love the rhetoric that we're just dumb Americans and that we don't have any skills when it comes to building a facility. And if they there to train, they've been there 2 years. I'm going to ask y'all again, where was all these Americans, especially Black Americans, on the job site when they got raided? Where the fuck were they? Since that is your argument.
To that lady who called for ICE to go and raid that Hyundai plant over there in Georgia, I hope you have the day that you deserve. They detained 500 workers, and out of 500 of those workers, 450 of them was South Korean. Okay, so let me get this right. So South Korea opened up that plant in Georgia to bring business to the U.S. and to bring jobs to the U.S. And they sent their qualified people to train Americans on how to do that job. And yet they got detained. Not only possibly did you just cost the state that you currently reside in billions of dollars, but if South Korea decides to cease operations and just shut the whole damn plant down, you think that far ahead? See, that's be our problem. Y'all don't think that far ahead because you can't even see past your own nose. So you're talking about, oh, it's going to open up over 400 jobs for Americans. It ain't going to be no job if the plant not there anymore. I mean, if over 400 jobs was opened up to Americans, who gonna train them? Y'all just detained their trainers.
And this one right here, she can't see past what's in front of her face. Now, first and foremost, I'm wondering why we have not discussed the fact that if these workers came over here to train and to build a plant so they could give Americans jobs, then why they ain't do that shit legally? Because we're going to find out at the end of this video that they did not do it legally. And if that was the case and that was the agreement, all they had to do was come in here illegally, man, but they did not. And what I would like you to do is look past your damn nose as what the fuck is in front of your face. You really think that had they built that plant fully, which it is built now, and done all of this training, that Negroes like you was finna get a bunch of jobs? You really think they wasn't finna fill that plant with immigrants when that's how they started it, and this is what they've been doing for years in this country? I'm glad you have so much faith in some shit that's always been a certain way in your face, but you was in denial today. So I hope that she gets the career that she deserves. I hope that with everybody getting laid off, with people not having jobs, including Black people, I hope your ass can find a new one when you lose the current one that you have. But carry on.
Karens don't call the manager anymore, they call ICE. And in Georgia, that phone call shut down a whole plant. So over the weekend, ICE raided the Hyundai plant in Georgia. And you know who set it off? A woman named Tori Branham. Yeah, Tori picked up the phone and called ICE like she was reporting noise in the neighborhood to the HOA president. But no, she was reporting workers. And here's the kicker. She's running for Congress. as a Republican. Now, here's the part they don't really want you to know. Most of those workers from the raid were not undocumented. They were actually here legally through a government program. The government knew it, and Tory knew it too when she made the call. But still, ICE showed up anyway. Because see, let's be real. None of this is ever about legality. It's about making sure folks know they're not welcome. And that, you all, is the American-made truth. When Karens run out of neighbors to call on, they go call the feds. Because see, Karens are American-born, bred, and raised. And their natural habitat is other people's business. So while Tory is out here weaponizing ICE as her campaign commercial, you need to understand the bigger picture. This is what happens when xenophobia isn't just tolerated, it's actually rewarded. The system doesn't need you to be guilty of anything. All it takes is one phone call from a wannabe congresswoman, and boom, lives flipped upside down. So Georgia residents, y'all better pay attention, because if this is what Tory does as a resident Karen, imagine what she'll do with a seat in Congress.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Karen don't know how to mind her business, but apparently you don't know how to mind your business either, because I didn't see any black folks in that raid that was going on. And you ain't a Georgia resident, and I am, and we would like you to mind your business. The next thing is you stated that those people here were here legally through a government program. Actually, they were not legal. That's why they're getting deported and going home. So you should do a little bit more research before you start minding other people's business. Okay, now with all of that said, let's take a look at what actually happened at the plant. First and foremost, what you need to know is that this plant and the agreement for them to come over and build this started in Biden's campaign. This plant has been being built and has had workers in it since 2023. There has been a lot of receipts against this place. They've actually been being investigated for a very long time. So that white woman just called in a good timing, but she is actually not the real reason why this plant was raided. They already had their eyes on this plant for a lot of reasons, like mistreatment of the people, their illegal statuses. Many people have gotten hurt and injured. People have even died at this plant because of the way that they have been doing things. And the workers haven't been coming forward to say anything because they have been threatened with their status. The fact that you're illegal, you can be deported. But you don't have to believe me. Remember, these were Asians that were deported. So I'm going to let an Asian tell you the truth.
Here we go again with the race baiting. So all the liberals are claiming that the Hyundai raid was because it's about Asian hate. They're posting stupid crap like this, asking for BTS to take a stance because amongst the 400 plus arrests are Koreans. Posting dumb stuff like this on X saying Trump's administration is turning law enforcement into a political spectacle. The mass raid at the Hyundai battery site, 475 detained mostly South Korean nationals in what official calls the largest single site HSI operation, risk wrecking U.S.-Korea ties, spooking investors, punishing vulnerable workers, while dozens of corporate questions remain unanswered. So you're just going to ignore the facts, which that's what liberals do. Even during the construction of this site, there have been multiple reports of how unsafe it is.
Our WTOC Investigates team first told you that there have been more than 53 EMS calls to the Hyundai megasite in Bryan County since April of 2023. 14 of those calls were for traumatic injuries. We've spoken to several people that work at the plant that say there is not enough concern for safety on the site. WTOC Investigates Shay Schrader live in the studio now. And Shay, that story doesn't end there.
Yes, Mike, the workers that I've spoken with say that they feared for their safety day in and day out on the Hyundai site. So why not just walk away? More than half a dozen people that have ties to the site tell me that many of the workers feel trapped and exploited because of their immigration status.
See, just more proof that the liberals, they don't care about people. They care about exploiting people. And don't tell me that that's not the case, because guess which president was the president that decided to broker this deal? That's right, President Joe Biden. He made an announcement on the White House website on October 25th in 2022, declaring the statement by President Joe Biden on Hyundai's investment in Georgia. And it was written, "My economic agenda passed by the Democrats in Congress to rebuild our manufacturing and infrastructure here at home countries to pay off for the American people people, this time in Georgia. This plant was announced during my trip to the Republic of Korea in May, and I'm excited the groundbreaking is happening months ahead of schedule. Hyundai's commitment is to invest more than $5 billion and create more than 8,000 jobs. So it sounds like our former Democratic president decided to team up with South Korea, create a factory claiming that it was going to release 8,000 jobs to the American people, but yet they hired a bunch of illegals and exploited them because of their status.
A leg being run over by a forklift, a conveyor belt crush, and a fatal fall. Bryan County and OSHA records show a tough reality for workers at the Hyundai megasite. Fernando Garcia and Kevin Souza worked on the site in the fall of 2023. The two, who have been working in construction for 28 and 26 years respectively, say they've never been on a job site so unsafe. Did you ever consider, because of the safety of the site, walking away from the job, or did you ever see other people walk away?
A lot of other people walked away, but truthfully, if we would have walked away, I mean, then, who's going to, get pictures of all this and get recordings?
Yeah, liberals, that's what you're fighting for. You're pissed off at the Trump administration for doing a raid on Hyundai. You're claiming that this was racism towards Asian people because a bunch of Koreans were picked up. Illegals, by the way. Meanwhile, that report was done last year under the Biden administration. Stupid narratives like this, none of the immigration-rated employees were Hyundai employees. This is a construction site for an up-and-coming Hyundai battery plant. The employees were employed by general contractors and subcontractors. Those two guys that are part of subcontracting and contracting work for the plant, they're the ones talking about how illegal immigrants are there. And they even talk about how there was a rumor spread back in 2023 that ICE was coming, and they have footage of all the employees running. Your narrative is complete false lies, which is exactly what you liberals do.
Like this one, a conversation Garcia captured between himself and a foreman on the site, explaining that you can get hired even if you're undocumented.
No importa, ¿verdad? Con papeles, sin papeles, ¿verdad?
Pero no le diga así directamente.
No.
Ni le diga que yo le dije.
No, tranquilo, pero no importa, ¿verdad? Yo le digo que lo llame.
It doesn't matter. But Souza says it does, saying workers' undocumented status on the site is what keeps them there despite all the safety risks. The bigger concern is deportation.
We were up in a lift one day, and I guess it was a supposed ICE raid. Well, we're looking down out the lift, and I mean, people are just bolting across the field, hopping the fence on 16, running towards the parking lot. And we're like, what in the world is going on? And then somebody said ICE is on site, and it actually shut a lot of the job down for 2 days because all the workers fled.
The panic of workers at the plant may have just been the result of a rumor.
So how are you guys going to argue this fact? That the news has been covering this for quite some time. And that specific story and article was published December of 2024 when President Biden was still our president. So yeah, this is not a racist thing where they're targeting Koreans. This is totally corruption that the Biden administration partnered up with the Korean official to fund, supposedly this bill, create a dangerous environment, exploit illegals because of their status, and put them in dangerous work environments and probably don't even pay them that well. Remind me again, which party is all about human compassion? Because it doesn't sound like the Democrats. Oh yeah, but you guys failed to mention any of this because you don't fact check. What you do is you just read headlines. With your race baiting of Asian hate bullshit, we all know it's a lie. You guys parroting this just shows you how stupid you are.
Now to sum everything up, again, Karen Calling did not get that plant raided. They had been investigating it for a while because of the things it was doing. Absolutely, those people were illegal immigrants. Their visa was up. It wasn't about pulling all these people in so that they could train American workers. That was actually not the case of what was going on, regardless of what had been said. Hyundai has even apologized because they said that all of those people should have been legal workers. They claimed that these were contractors that they used and that the contractors did not do their due diligence, but they have apologized. You have South Korea talking about sending officials over here so that they can have conversations and work out the situation because South Korea and the United States were supposed to be coming together to build a lot of infrastructure and things here in the United States. But this is not the way that you go about doing it, and this was not part of the plan. So again, all of this rhetoric that everybody has online, it is false information. They should do their research. And the next thing is that they were illegal, and that is why they got deported. So we should go do some more research before we start to spread false stuff just because you hear something online instead of following through with what it is. But I would prefer Black people would just simply mind your business. That's what we said we were going to do. We were going to mind our Black business and sit this shit out. So why are you crying for Koreans? Aren't these the same people that we were complaining about in the nail shop mistreating us, speaking all their language and talking bad about us, or locking grandmothers and people in their nail salons and beating them up? Did we forget all of this? Now you're crying for those people? I am so confused. Please go back to minding your Black business. And if you decide to step out of that lane of minding your Black business, at least do your diligence before you open your mouth.